Today we're going to be working with the string class. So opening up QuickTime here. Again, reminding you, QuickTime is called an IDE, an Integrated Development Environment. Over on the left, hit the folders. I'm going to work today in quarter 2. So I will go to New, Class, and I'm going to call this the string class. Hitting Finish. Again, reminding you every time to start your program name with a capital letter. Then we always have the main method here. You're always going to need this in applications. Public, static, void, main, string, args. Make sure you realize none of those letters are capitalized except for S. If you did capitalize one of them, say capital V, you would notice it would give you a red error message over here. The problem is this capital V, but it puts the red lines over here. Occasionally these error messages are hard to find, so I'll lower this down to V, and that's called the syntax error. So today we're going to work with the string class. So recall, string is one of the variables, and we could call this string cat, and we can put whatever word we want in here, and it will save it as cat. Recall, I think of this as there's a mailbox inside the computer, and the mailbox's name is called cat, and inside of it is the word New York City. And those 3 words. I know I said word. Now there's some things we could do to this. In case we wanted to, for some reason, capitalize New York City, we could do system.out.println, and we could print this out, println, and we could do cat dot to uppercase. Now the beautiful thing about working with Eclipse as our IDE, it pulls up some of the things you could do. What this is going to do is take the word cat, not the word cat, the mailbox cat, and uppercase whatever's in it. And New York City is in that. So if we hit run, New York City is completely uppercase. Hopefully you could guess that if you printed out cat to lowercase, it also has this feature. So now it can print out everything to lowercase. So New York City in uppercase, New York City in lowercase. Next, if you wanted to, for some reason you want to find a character. Like, what is the first character in New York City? Occasionally you need this, especially if you're making passwords and usernames. You do system.out.println, and let's say you want to know what's the first letter in this mailbox cat. You might not know the word. So what you do is you do cat dot, and it's char at. It's the character at spot. And now this is the one little tricky thing. With computer science and almost every program that I know, programming language,
good morning. Please
is that
interruption. That bell was not an accurate bell. We're still in the first period of class. Thank you.
There's Mr. Bird. Okay, so in most of the computer languages that I know, the first spot in a string is actually spot 0. It doesn't start at 1. It starts at 0, then 1, then 2, then 3, and so on. And that gets a little tricky. So if we run right now, and we say, what's a char 0? The letter N. So if we count, N is at 0, E is at 1, W is at 2. If we say, what's at system.out.println cat.char at, and we put in 3. We take some guesses now. Will it print out the Y? Which it won't. It will actually print out, and if you look, it looks like it printed out nothing. Actually, it did print something. It printed out the space there between New and York. So it printed out that little space there. If we move it over to 4, now it will print the Y. So you need to realize spaces count as a character. Some of the other interesting features that go with strings: system.out.println. you could figure out how long is the word we're spelling. Now what I'm going to do for this, I'm actually going to take the spacing out of New York City, or actually we'll put it as Arlington. So a little closer, one word. And what we do is cat dot length. And what that will do, that will find out the length of the word you have in there. And quick little counting there, there's 9 letters in Arlington, and it printed out a 9. Also realize char at 0 is the A, char at for Arlington 4 is the N. Notice 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 2 other really interesting features. There's quite a few for string, but I think the beginner ones could go like this. Cat dot replace. So let's say you wanted to replace a character. So the character, you don't like the character N in Arlington. For some reason, you want to replace it with the character 8. This will take all the N's in Arlington and replace them with 8s. So if you're trying to create a program that makes up different and new passwords for you, that's one way. You could replace an arbitrary letter with some sort of symbol so no one could figure out your password. And then the other interesting part of the string class is cat dot substring. So if we wanted to figure out what's between the 3rd and the 7th characters, well, starting at the 3rd, 0, 1, 2, 3, I, then 4, 5, 6, 7. Now notice it didn't print out the 7th one, so it starts at the 3rd spot, the 3rd character, and then it goes to the 7th, but only prints up the 6th character. That's useful in figuring out how to break up middle names, and will come useful in a lot of different programs in ways that don't seem obvious right now, but all of these are really useful. Hopefully this was helpful, and I will see you next time.